Hi, today I'm extremely excited to meet Ms. Srisha, the Director of Education of SSVM Institutions and RU Schools. Come join me at this beautiful podcast today. Ms. Srisha, so as an education leader today, what's the most surprising thing that you would have learned about yourself?
Thanks for that. I think, right from my childhood, I've always, had this vision of, running a school, establishing a school, and that inspiration came from my mom.
Okay.
Right? Just like how children in their, school days, they would aspire to become like their teachers. I think I was very inspired by my mom at every role that she could play, and especially as an education leader. Okay. Right? But coming back, when I started my career in education, I think I was surprised by, the kind of responsibility that you need to carry. It is different from, when you see from the outside versus when you actually take the responsibility of a leader and, establish a place, establish a school that is beneficial for the children. So I started off when I was, I think, 21 itself.
Okay.
I think the most surprising thing I would have learned from myself is that I've had to unlearn a lot of things.
Great.
And that I didn't have to have answers for everything all the time. And I just needed to create an environment where people can thrive and discover themselves in the space. So that is something I discovered in the process. And I've discovered about myself that I can rely on my vulnerability also, right? Mm-hmm. And that this kind of work actually is quite deeply emotional, I would say. And whether it is dealing with the children, the weight of carrying the responsibility of so many children's lives and their futures, that's a big responsibility. And I take that very seriously. And that was, again, a very surprising thing I've learned about myself, because it's not just about carrying a legacy from the first generation, but you really need to have that same kind of love and passion for children, and that is the energy and the purpose that drives you every day. And I also mentioned that the work is deeply emotional because of the people that we deal with. It's more than just implementing curriculum or policies.
Yes.
It goes beyond that. So it's the people that we work with, whether it is the educators, being there with them through their learning and being there with them through their struggles and challenges, and also the parents, right? They are the families, the hope that they have for their children, and working alongside them, and that really understanding that it takes a whole village to raise every child here. And so I was really surprised to discover the love and passion that I had for I have for children, and that I really want to do the best thing for them as much as I can, at least.
I think the honesty leadership quality is what you have nailed. I mean, being brutally honest here by saying that, you're unlearning. Yes. So, and when you start there, that makes a lot of difference, right? You're ready to unlearn and see and what's there in the future. I think very nice. So I think being honest is great.
Thank you.
So if you could switch a day in your life with one of your students, what would you hope to learn?
Well, interesting, actually. So if I were to switch lives with a student of this age, I must say, the years here, the kind of world that we're living in is very different from how we were growing up. I have definitely had the perspective of being a student in the same school my parents ran, right? But today's world is so different outside, and the advancements that we have. There's this saying, I'm not sure if you've heard of it, strong men, or hard times make strong men. And strong men make good times, meaning easy times. And easy times make weak men, and weak men make hard times. And this is a cycle, right?
Yeah.
So I do believe that, with the kind of advancements that we have in the world today, with technology coming in, or so many different opportunities for us to, conveniently access information or conveniently be able to function in a regular life, has become, I think we are living in an easy time, definitely. But again, having said that, I would really like to be in a student's, see the world in a student's lens in today's world, and see what are the real challenges they're going through in such, advancements that are happening right now, and how are they perceiving the world. And again, there's one more term that I recently came across in a book. Udana means, in Sanskrit, the ability, the energy that you have to absorb knowledge or absorb even learning, for that matter. So it's at its peak when you're born, or at the youngest of ages. And as you grow up, that freshness and the ability to absorb that, knowledge and learning sort of, diminishes. So as we age, it diminishes. And now we can see that's where the generation gap actually begins, right? So I would really, like to go back to that stage right now, see from, a student's point of view, how the world is around them, their real learnings that they're having, the struggles that they go through, and see really, what it takes for them to visualize the future for themselves and experience what they're experiencing right now in the best version. So that's definitely something I want to live through.
That's nice. And when it comes to education, what's the, on a day-to-day basis, you would have heard a lot of advices, but the best of the lot that has taken through, got you here. And I think it all comes from where, our upbringing, like you said, like you mentioned, the atmosphere, the environment. So what is the best that you have picked up, the advices?
Something that's really strongly etched in my mind, even right now, and that's something I carry across, through my life. I think that's going to be a very strong message that I've received, and I keep that in mind every time I do something. So I used to be an air rifle shooter, and so the very first time I picked up air rifle shooting, I was, it started off with that spark, love for the sport. And eventually I got an opportunity to have a coach who was, a top-notch coach in the industry, in the field. He was producing national gold medalists. And so that's, something I was very excited about. And through that process, I think one thing that I learned from what he mentioned to me is that, focus on the process. Don't look for medals as the end result. And don't look for your scores. Just enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy the process of, carrying a rifle, picking up, loading the gun, and then holding it. Just being present in the moment, staying calm, and focusing on, just your target and what you're that's your goal. And just see that every technique that you're going through for every shot, just focus on your process, and see that you're able to give your best in every little shot that you're doing. And that's precisely what I did. I had no pressure going into my very first competition. And surprisingly,
tell me you won.
Yes, I had a state gold medal, and I broke my record, and I kept breaking my own records.
Oh, beautiful!
And so that was something. I think it was a very humbling experience, because before that I've always had the pressure of competition, or that we need to beat someone else or win somebody else. But that was the first time I learned that I have to win over myself, and that I need to get better at what I'm doing and see that I can, take my levels a notch higher, rather than having to think about competing with someone else. And I think that's the same, expectation and learning that I got from my parents as well.
Wow.
That you focus on your journey, and that see for every goal, every vision that you have, see that you're working on the process and not what you get as a result is something. Result is a byproduct, and that you do not have to see only the result as an end goal, but look at how you can refine the process and everything. So I've learned through experience and practice, and from people advising me, whether it's my parents or my coach. They've been very steadfast to this advice and message. Time and again I've practiced it, and I've really believed that it works. That be focused on the process and not the end, the result or the byproduct of what it is going to be. So that's precisely what has helped me through education as well.
Okay.
The approach to education. So there's in the world where especially in our Indian education system, we're so driven towards marks and what a child is ultimately getting in their papers, their marks and all of that. But I think
do you think it's changing somewhere?
It is changing now.
Over the time,
the time it's evolving, thankfully. And the thing is, I think right now education needs to be looked upon like the purpose of developing an individual who is ready for the world, and the process of doing that, right from how a space can be, how the culture of the school can be, how your learning and teaching practices can be at school. Every little detail and the process of learning is what we need to focus on, and that's how I think it shaped my perspectives of how I need to look at education as well. So this is a strong message that I carry at everything I do, and it has really helped me.
I think this is a real, as a leader, it's a wonderful thing, and I'm sure many are going to understand this, and thank you for sharing it with us also today. I think it's something that we should learn, like you said, the word process, taking that in and processing these stuff. It's very nice.
Thank you.
I have this thing now with all this happening today and being education, the word like that. When I say education, what comes to your mind, and how can this create a positive shift in the world today?
Education is something, I strongly believe in it being not just a transfer of knowledge anymore. It's about, knowing how you can fit into a world that's evolving constantly. 10 years down the line is going to be different. 20 years down the line is going to be different. But how we develop ourselves as individuals who are ready for the world, right? And so that comes in with developing your skills that are necessary, whether it is your communication skills, being confident and being ready to open to learn at any point in time in life. And the skills of being around, other human beings around us, right? Just having conversations with them that are relevant and relatable, and being intellectual. So there's a difference between intellect and intelligence. So it's not about just being intelligent, but how intellectual you are, how you're able to put that knowledge that you have into use, or being able to question things that are right, things that are wrong, and really making feel that your voice really is something that matters, right? So these are all aspects of education in its whole purpose that we need to see that as we're able to develop individuals as well-rounded beings, and that ultimately as humans in life, what do we need? Happiness. And the happiness is all connected to every little thing that we do, and the aspiration to learn from every mistake that we make, or every even building resilience for that matter, knowing that there are hard times, knowing that there are we don't get it all easy. So an individual should be grounded. At the same time, knowledge is something that will be acquired in so many different ways. We have access to it
Yes.
in so many different ways right now. It's about how you can evolve and understand how to, buy time and the advancements that come in place. How do we make use of such resources? How do we make use of access to such information? What do we do about it? Right? So these are the kind of things that need to be integrated into the purpose of education. And the children who are now going to be the leaders of tomorrow, they need to be making change in the world, and that they, in whichever field that they choose to, and however they carry their purpose in life, they should be able to be steadfast in that particular goal and the purpose that that they're carrying forward. Stay true to it. Right. So that's precisely what we need to look at. Because this is something. Education is something that will never take a step back, and it's an essential area in a child's life, in a developing human's life. So it is a very important aspect, and which is why as schools we have the responsibility to make sure we're doing it right, and also that it's for every child. It is just the one time that you can get to do it right in their life. So we have to take that responsibility very seriously and see that we're giving the best for them.
That's true. And like you just mentioned, it's the school's responsibility end of the day, and you being a director of education for such a prestigious institution, how do you all think that you all are making a difference today? Being RU I feel it's doing a brilliant job. So from your side, your story, how do you think RU is playing their part today? How is it?
I think we're trying our best to make sure we're bringing in mindful practices. In terms of it started off with designing a space that's flexible enough to have learning, integrate learning that's collaborative, learning that can inspire curiosity in children, allow them to question, allow that reasoning mind to research, and absorb the right kind of exposure that they need to be given. So these were all the the thought process that went in us when we knew that we've been 27 years down the line in being in the field of education, and there's something that we need to do to take it a notch higher. And what can we do to make education more personalized, and that every child is being identified for their unique potential, and that every child is different and they need to be respected as individuals on their own. And so these were all aspects that went into conceptualizing RU as a first and early learning center, and then with the years beyond, we wanted to create the continuum journey as well up to grade 12, carrying the same philosophy. So with best practices from SSVM and the experience of the first generation, then we're bringing in our perspectives and learnings that we've had inspiration from around the world. We're bringing it to Coimbatore, and seeing that even Coimbatore can have uniquely unique offering in terms of an education program. So that comes in with let's say the understanding of a factory model school system, was something that was established long ago, because we were in industrial revolution, and colonialism came in, and the kind of schooling that was happening was, our Indian philosophy and education was the best in the whole world. But that has completely faded away, and we have taken inspiration from other places. So I wanted to bring back what we were practicing and what people have taken inspiration from India, and carried it across other parts of the world. And so that's something we really wanted to bring inside our philosophy, and RU being the meaning of it is to grow. And so it resonates really well with us.
Okay.
In terms of, like I said, it's an environment that we've created for people to thrive in, and it's an opportunity for every individual who's coming into this community to grow in a beautiful way, and also for us to grow alongside them. And with that vision, we set up RU, and I think one thing that I'm at least happy to see is that we're being pioneers in the way the vision has come across to life. And also I'm so happy that so many other schools or school leaders are inspired by RU. And RU's practices, RU's curriculum approach.
So you're definitely making a difference there.
Yes. So, I mean, it's humbling to see that,
Yes,
because, a lot of people think, oh, they're copying us or they're doing this. But
like
I like to think that it's very reassuring, and I'm open to sharing,
That's
that the more children benefit in the society, it's definitely going to be a better world tomorrow. So that way, it's very reassuring to know that there are school leaders, even experienced leaders, who take inspiration from us and our practices, whether it is within Coimbatore or outside Coimbatore. So that, in a short span of time, to have established that alongside the legacy of SSVM is something that we see is very humbling to know, and very reassuring. And because I always look at our own journey and see that how we can make our practices more innovative, and see that we're able to innovate. Again, innovation happens to see that you're doing better, and what can you bring in to make children's lives better and their schooling journey better. So that's how I keep looking back at our own journey and see what we can keep doing better, and include people in the process. So it's not just absolutely. So it's not just a one-man army. So it's a team. It's a community that comes together and contributes to this kind of a system. And that's something we're really happy to even take it forward in the years to come as well.
I think RU has been your baby completely, and you have stepped into a learner's shoes already. The way you're able to idealize and express your thoughts and opinions, I think you've already understood what a learner of this generation and the coming is supposed to do. So I think it's very nice. So it's shown. Like you're saying, everybody's able to learn from you. That's great.
Thank you for sharing that. And I don't also stop learning. Right. So that's something I until my last breath, I would definitely keep learning.
A learner always.
Learner always. So, and that's something I keep having our educators and the community here also to be inspired to learn. And if you don't practice something, they would not do that. So we will have to be role models, and they have to be role models for the children. So it is very important to embody that in yourself. So
been out, right? And then you settled down here.
So I did my schooling in SSVM throughout until grade 12. And then did my undergrad in Canada, University of British Columbia. So it was a 4-year program. I think that was a life-changing experience. And so from there, then I did Masters of Education in Sydney University, and then did a few programs at Harvard Graduate School of Education, and that's where the idea of I think we need to look back into our system and see that we can make this change there, and not so many other countries, they've already started making that change. Like, why not us?
And today, when you're standing up the podium, I see you taking. So I think you'll be all proud of yourself now that you're standing up for India or for your own city.
Yes.
I mean, I mean, more than pride. How do you feel like?
I think I always felt that. The purpose of making that impact happen, and that's only possible here because there is a need for good quality education and for more people to access the right kind of schooling journey, and we just go with the the brunt of just following how the larger school models are, right?
Yes.
Then there's no point.
Yeah.
So you're just doing the same thing everyone else is doing.
Yes.
But where is the true, like when you actually have a vision, when you start, to see what impact you're creating in a child's life.
Yes.
It's a big responsibility. If you have about, let's say, 10,000, 15,000 children that you're, who are going to go into the world, each one doing something in their own careers, there's so many stories.
Exactly.
Right? So if they are able to make impact again, that's another multifold.
And you're one there, right?
Yeah, it's a multifold.
Yeah.
So it's that facilitation that we need to do initially, and they carry that forward through their lifetime.
Yeah.
So it's multiple thousands of children. Again, they impact multifold to many lives. So that's the connection we need to see.
And when you just said stories, we're all made up of stories. When you got the like your first generation baby in your hand, director of education, or being founder of the RU, like how did you feel? What's the a memorable success story that I wouldn't say that. I think we're only through stories is what we're all learning today. Even if we go back from here, there's so much that I'm going to learn from you. So what is that story that's impacted you from this? Being a director of education. So
I think first being given that title was a big responsibility. A lot of them, I have heard it myself. They see it's it as a second generation into the family. It's easy. You've got it all easy, and that it's possible that you've got the title only because your parents are running the organization. But a lot of times what happens is they miss the responsibility that a second generation needs to carry, because the first generation actually started with a vision of creating something impactful. And now it's really on us, whether you just keep that title and let be however it is and just enjoy life, or how you take that responsibility to the next level.
You see, and people think that it's. I think getting rewarded by your parents is the most. It's successful. Even if your parents are given that, you imagine the amount of trust they have in you.
Absolutely.
I think we should take this right. This is also learning. It's not just for second, third generation. I think it's that trust. And
and on another note, I think initially being given that title, I was so nervous at the same time. I think worried if people will accept me. Because I'm so young as a person, how do they accept me as a leader? Who's already, having, my mom and dad as their leader. How are they going to accept me as a second generation leader was another difficult thing for me to process. But I think it was so smooth in a way where I did not realize that through my journey in the childhood, everything that I did mattered for people to accept me at this stage. Right? They've seen me not having a life very easy. So although I was studying in the same school that my parents were running, it was not an easy feat, because I never got partial treatment, or in fact I had to be the role model, and so my life was much more challenging than a regular student in a school.
It started way back for you.
It started way back, and there would be days where I don't even hesitate going in a vegetable truck to the school. So that experience really humbled me, and I think made me grounded as an individual first, and be able to value every life that's being part. And again, my parents have always told me that you have to look at the organization as a society that's benefiting, and every family, even a housekeeping staff that gets to come and work with us, their life and their family is impacted. And they're able to live a comfortable life because they're working with us. And so I think the entire village, when they started SSVM in Mettapalayam, was it was growing along with the school, and to see that hundreds and hundreds of families being impacted, it was that, I think the purpose that really wanted me to carry that forward and impact the same families, or having that interaction with them on a one-on-one basis, because it just doesn't come from parents speaking to you, or even the first generation leaders speaking to you, but you being in that environment day in, day out, speaking to those people, having conversations about their families, what they do, what do they do when they go back home, or the kind of lives they're leading, making ends meet. The little salary that they get, what is it doing for them? Or are they able to comfortably live a life, or are they just making ends meet, or they're struggling to do something? So these are stories with every person. At least most of them I've had this interaction with, whether it is the teachers when I was small, or even non-teaching staff. And I realized that it is a whole community that's benefiting out of the service that we are doing. And people, I think, automatically they have also seen me grow with that groundedness, being rooted with our values, and that has made them accept me as an individual who's going to lead them further.
I think it's been a natural process.
So I think that was, although I was nervous in the beginning, I did get the love and affection that everybody has poured into me, and believing in me and trusting in me is something that has, I think I have knowingly or unknowingly worked on already, right from my childhood. And that comes from being integral, honesty comes first, and being your true self, and also being really connected to the purpose of what you want to do. So I think it comes from there, and people will be able to see that. Like I said, the process, when you're just focused on the process of it, things like this just happens naturally. And I've always believed in the concept of giving more than taking. So the more you give, you will, without expecting that we will take.
That's the best life.
Ultimately, you will be benefited. Your family is going to be benefited. The whole community is going to be benefited. So that's a beautiful thing also.
And that's a proper success story. Thank you. Outside of education, what's that one thing that what's a surprise fact of Miss Srisha that we all would like to know?
Well, I think one thing is I've been a national gold medalist in air rifle shooting, and air rifle shooting has been like my passion in terms of sports that I carry. I try as much as possible whenever I get to go to the indoor range at our Metropolitan campus or at the SSV World School campus. So if I get the chance to, and the moment I get to practice air rifle shooting, it's a meditative sport. I really find so much, I think, calmness when I get to do that. And another thing is I can sing.
Shall we have it now?
I mean, so I did learn professionally when I was small as well, but now I'm really trying my best to get some time to practice. But singing again is another passion that I.
Great.
I'm not an expert or a professional, but I love music.
So you keep humming through your day?
That happens. My husband says I have a live radio.
He's lucky. So when it comes to leaders, is something that especially women out there today would like to know. How do you balance the ultimate question, personal and your professional life? So any key takes from that?
I'm still figuring it out. I think I'm still figuring it out. I wouldn't say I've got it all. I figured it all. But I think one thing I used to do at least a couple of years back is working out every day. I was so focused on my fitness journey, and I think that exercise every day really helped me feel a lot lighter and energized for the day. And that's something I really want to take it forward even now. Honestly speaking, I think that has been a challenge to keep time as a consistency, but I have learned through the process that making time is more important for that. So now I'm definitely going to consciously make effort. Another thing is I think we've been, at least, I'm thankful that I have a partner who is, who takes equal or more responsibility, to make sure that, I don't feel that I'm having to do housework all by myself, or, even making a meal. Right. So we do it together.
That's nice.
And that is again a process that we enjoy at home, and it becomes a time that we get to spend together.
Yes.
So we have some time where he, Nitin, for example, he loves cooking. And he's been a chef before.
Wow.
And so I think I'm lucky in that sense where he loves doing these.
Yes.
And we sometimes cook together, and I've learned a lot from him. So these are some time, quality time that we get to spend at home, and we make sure we do everything by ourselves. And another thing is, at least recently, I've been consciously trying to take Sundays off. We used to work, through the week, and even on Sundays, which still ends up happening, but we, I think, take at least half a day, or at least 8 hours in a day, consciously with my parents, and with the pets at home. We go to Mettapalayam, we just spend the day with them, relaxing. So that, I think, is a much needed time for us as well. And I love traveling also, because I take inspiration from around the world. Traveling is just as good as reading books as well.
Yes.
So it's an experience that we need to sort of carry around lifelong. So that's something, when we get the chance to, even if it is going for work, we try and explore at least a day in the city, try and learn something new. And so that's one way of, bringing that into our regular days. And another important thing that I have been doing the last 3 years is taking a detox break. So I take a detox break, both of us, we take a detox break at least 6 months once. So we go away to this place called Vaidyagrama. It's
Ayurveda.
Yes, it's an Ayurvedic healing center. So it's a wellness center. So we just go there at least for a week, if possible. And so our phones are away. It's a completely, I think it's a place where they practice Ayurveda very authentically. So we get to leave our phones away. We, carry our books, go sit there, read. And it's a place that's so in tune with nature. And so it feels so good to be connected, with the nature around, and be just living a slow life for an entire week, at least for a week. And we feel good ultimately. We come back with so much energy and inspiration after that whole week. And that's something I think we're going to carry forward as well. And it's much needed.
Very nice.
So we take that time off for a week. And completely focused on wellness.
That's a good work-life balance. I think for the finale, I would like to know what sets RU schools apart from the other schools today in the city, especially. So,
I think one thing I would, confidently say is the learning environments. Then the pedagogy and the philosophy. By pedagogy, I mean the teaching, learning practices, and the culture of the school. And that the community is unique in its way of having that sense of belonging. So we welcome parents, we welcome families to be a part of this journey. So it's more than just only the child. So a child's journey is as important as the the educators, as much as they learn to do the best for the children, and the parents likewise. So because children spend 8 hours of the day, or at least 6 hours in a day at school, a lot of things when they go back home shouldn't be unlearned. So to keep that consistency, it's important that parents are also informed, and we work alongside them for to see that the vision is coming to life consistently. And with the culture, the practices, the curriculum, we try and practice it as authentically as possible. Take learnings from experts, and so that is something we are constantly evolving with. So I think I would say we would be setting apart in a way where we're very conscious in how the learning journey needs to be. and that we are invested in our journey as a community, the community that comes here, and what they are going to benefit out of this whole journey.
Yes.
Right from the very first stage, because we have our programs right from the conception.
Yeah.
So the seed, when a child is growing, to being completely nurtured as a plant,
Yes.
to the entire journey of nurturing them, and seeing that the family is also benefiting as a whole together, right from that stage to their grade 12, and going into the world, being prepared to go into the world. I think is a journey that we've taken very consciously and mindfully, and we will keep practicing that. So I think that conscious practice is something that sets us apart as well. Yeah.
And I think I'm very happy that I met an honest leader for the future, and I think a very multi-talented person also. Very warm, and like you say, I think it's a lot to do with your upbringing and being so grounded. So thank you so much for your time for today. And I think world out there has a very beautiful leader out there. So yeah, thank you for being honest also about education and so many tasks that I got to know today.
Thank you for taking the time and wanting to interact with me today. And I think it was a wonderful interaction.
This was needed, and I think I'm happy we made it. So yeah.
Thank you.